Drama queen that I am, I have always loved Théodore Géricault's The Raft of the Medusa, which vividly captures one of the most scandalous and tragic maritime disasters of the 19th century. The painting, in a single traumatic image, tells the tale of La Méduse, a French frigate bound for Senegal, carrying a mix of soldiers, colonists, and crew. Through gross incompetence and political favoritism, the inexperienced captain of this vessel led the ship straight into disaster, grounding it on a sandbank off the coast of West Africa. In a panic, the officers and wealthy passengers abandoned the ship on lifeboats, leaving 147 men to fend for themselves on a hastily constructed and woefully inadequate raft. For 13 days, the raft drifted helplessly in open water. Supplies ran out almost immediately, and as the crew's hunger, thirst, and desperation took over, men turned on each other with violence, descending into madness and cannibalism as they tried to stay alive. Only 15 would survive to be rescued, mere shadows of their former selves, skeletal, traumatized, their ordeal a national scandal. The horror of their story gripped all of France, igniting also the imagination of the 27-year-old Théodore Géricault, who transformed the catastrophe into this colossal 16 by 23 feet masterpiece, an epic visual drama, the 19th century's answer to an IMAX blockbuster. For some reason, known only to my idiotic imagination, whenever I see this painting, I also start hearing in my mind's ear a relatively little-known song by one of my favorite bands of all time, Pavement, a B-side gem from their Trigger Cut single released in 1992. I don't normally look to Pavement for their love songs. I mean, Steve Malkmus, the dude who penned most of the oeuvre, strikes me as quintessentially Enneagram 5 investigator, or maybe a Type 7 enthusiast.
Is a sculpture by my wife, Jessica Jackson Hutchins.
Cerebral, detached, effortlessly aloof, a breezy Epicurean who skirts emotional depth in favor of wry commentary.
Keith and Anita, referring to Keith Richards and Anita Pallenberg. They were star-crossed lovers.
A man who's clearly way too insouciant, too postmodern, too much the sardonic hipster to ever really wear his heart on the sleeve of his Portland Trail Blazers jersey.
It's just about love and glitter reduced to this form. It's beautiful.
You do get glimpses of vulnerability from Malkmus in this song. In the chorus of Raft, there's that sort of stimulate the open chords line, which seems, if you squint a little, to be hinting at something raw and exposed, like he's finally about to crack the cool exterior and let you in.
I'm on a raft, can't turn back, stimulate the open chords.
But even then, he's never actually going to tell you what those more vulnerable open chords are. It's like, pointing to a locked door and saying, there's something really deep and important behind there, folks, but never actually giving you the key. And while this might feel like a frustrating deflection, it is of course exactly this kind of play that works brilliantly in the game of love. The tease, the mystery, the not quite there vulnerability that keeps them, whoever they are, us, hooked. It's the kind of move that, frustrating as it may seem, actually scores the points that matter. But what do I know? One of the curses of being a recovering romantic is that we're always too eager to trade our own brand of bullshit for someone else's, whose life is probably just as bullshitty. Maybe Malkmus, now married with kids, might secretly envy the spontaneity and reckless abandon of my single life, the fact that I can disappear on a Saturday evening to stand more common and transform myself into a sort of Rastafarian Rumpelstiltskin, shaking my booty to my favorite tunes while Max prances around like a go-go dancer on speed. Last Saturday, I was very much in the mood for dancing to Raft and a few other kiss-off tracks after a week of chatting to Jackie on Hinge. Jackie has a video of herself dancing on her profile, and I have a video of myself dancing on my profile, and I guess this was the decisive factor for our matching, as Jackie clearly has no interest regarding me or anything else to do with my profile, apart from the fact that I am a 53-year-old man who can hold a beat. Jackie is my age, has a daughter, a dog, works as a freelance motion designer for various media companies, keeps a sketchbook by her bed filled with half-finished ideas that she never shows anyone, hates the sound of her own voice on recordings, though, I like listening to her, sometimes cries after watching animated films, and has a fear of flying that has kept her grounded for the past 5 years.
Well, you mesmerized me. Stop criticizing me,
Jackie also has a lover, she tells me on the 5th day of our chats. Some guy in his 60s that she hooked up with at an ecstatic dance weekend. Apparently he's the type who likes to bang a bunch of women in rotation, while Jackie, like me, identifies as sexually monogamous and wants someone younger and also just for herself. But of course, she also wants to have her cake and eat it, or rather have her dick and, well, you get the idea. And this means that she cannot, she cannot make time for a little video chat over the weekend because, well, Clive is coming over, right? And, but hey, she does offer me 20-minute slot Sunday night if I can just hold fire.
Can't turn back. Standing here with the open chords. I'm on a raft. Can't turn back.
So, after unmatching with Jackie on the app, Max and I head out for our ecstatic dance session, surrounded by some mildly confused trees and a couple of disinterested bushes. Why is it that I always return to songs like this in the throes of Hinge bullshit when my capacity for hope and patience is eroding faster than the rotting planks of some hastily constructed raft beneath my feet? Well, there's a certain comfort, I guess, in the song's shrugging, slacker indifference, its refusal to wallow or mope. It's like Malcolmus is giving us permission to lean into our own cultivated apathy, to perfect the not-so-subtle art of not giving a fuck in the face of both our own and everyone else's constant waves of idiocy. In the center of the raft of Medusa, a figure more introspective and haunted than the one dramatically waving for help at the front catches our eye. Maybe because his head is encircled by a bright skein of red cloth, the color of vulnerability, defiance, as well as the slow, inevitable creep of doom. This figure is all about exhaustion, but also a certain form of resignation. Art critic T.J. Clark says of this figure that he, quote, embodies the melancholy of survival, the burden of witnessing catastrophe without the energy to respond. The red cloth, draped somewhere between a shroud and a crown, suggests both a fragility as well as a kind of strength, albeit a strength weighed down by the sheer burden of endurance. This ties in well, I think, with the disintegrating subject of Pavement's raft, where both figures, surrounded by chaos, are not so much acting as just sort of being, holding on to whatever sliver of detachment they can find to avoid being overwhelmed. It is the very instability of these subjects that makes them so compelling. The raft may be fragile, but the figures on it, at least until they become lifeless flotsam and jetsam tossed about by the waves, refuse, for now, to be swallowed by the sea. So once we've stepped off the raft of romance yet again, what lessons are to be learned regarding the paradox of love, or rather the paradox of bargaining in the sexual marketplace, where every caress comes with a price? You know that old saying, no such thing as a free lunch. Well, in the sexual marketplace, there really is no such thing as a free compliment, no such thing as a free caress. Every touch, every moment of tenderness, sooner or later, will come back with something sharp poking through it, something we were not entirely prepared for, but have, by now, thankfully, come to expect. "Oh, you mesmerize me," sings Malcolmus to his love object, "but you also criticize me. You're an ocean of honey, an endlessly amusing lake of sweetness and light, but dive down deep enough into the two of us, and that mesmerizing love object will at some point become painful in various ways. Painfully funny, painfully confusing, painfully alienating. Painful."
Can't turn back. Stimulate the open chords, right?